Hi, my name is Barbie Flanagan. Welcome to True Crime Terror Tales. If this is your first time here, please like and subscribe and leave lots of comments and ideas. Most people know who Jeffrey Dahmer is. He killed 17 men and boys back in the mid 80s and 90s. He was also in the Army, and most people don't know that he had victims during his time there. Today, you're going to meet them, and they'll tell you why he was a monster. Jeffrey Dahmer is also known as the Milwaukee Cannibal. He killed his first victim in 1978. He had picked up a hitchhiker, 18-year-old Stephen Hicks. Dahmer drove him to the family home in Bath, Ohio. Soon after his high school graduation, his parents had split up. His mom left with his little brother while his father moved to a motel. They'd left Dahmer in the house by himself.
We talked, had some drinks. I knocked him out. That was the first time.
From 1978 until 1991, Dahmer tortured, sexually assaulted, and murdered 17 males. He dismembered the victims and preserved their skeletons. He also ate their flesh and organs to try to keep them with him forever.
There was a big element of wanting complete control over someone. Total control.
Dahmer's sadistic and sociopathic behavior began long before the world saw the horrors inside his Milwaukee apartment. 6 weeks after he murdered Hicks, Dahmer started classes at The Ohio State University. He was a drunk who dropped out after one quarter. January of 1979, Dahmer enlisted in the U.S. Army to please his father. He did his basic training at Fort McClellan in Alabama, and he trained as a medical specialist in Fort Sam Houston in Texas. It's important to touch on Dahmer's background and what sinister thoughts made him become an Army medic. May 21, 1960, Jeffrey Dahmer was born in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. His parents, Lionel and Joyce, argued endlessly. Joyce had a drug addiction and mental health issues that made her suicidal. Despite the chaotic household, Lionel noticed that Dahmer was shy and awkward. Since Lionel was a chemist, he'd helped Dahmer with his hobby of dissecting and preserving animals and insects. Dahmer was antisocial, but he managed to make some friends by being a class clown. By high school, he showed up to class drunk, and his teachers simply ignored it. When Dahmer murdered Stephen Hicks in 1978, he'd been drinking, and in an instant, the shy teenager turned into a raging killer. He hit Hicks twice in the head with a 10-pound dumbbell and then strangled him with the metal bar. Dahmer dismembered Hicks and used hydrofluoric acid to remove the flesh from the corpse. Then he smashed the bones with a sledgehammer and scattered the remains in the wood. Dahmer did all this at just 18 years old. When he became an Army medic, he increased his knowledge of the human anatomy, and that made him even more dangerous.
I have stab marks, tissue missing here.
Billy Joe Capshaw was just 17 years old when he became Dahmer's roommate while they were stationed at the Baumholder military base in Germany. Capshaw came from a poor family. He joined the Army to help his sister who had a congenital heart disease. Capshaw says that Dahmer held him captive in their room. He tied him to the bed and made sure Capshaw didn't get any military assignments, mail, or phone calls. He drugged the teen and beat Capshaw with his fist and an iron bar nearly every day. Dahmer also sexually assaulted him on multiple occasions.
I've had probably 4 or 5 back surgeries. I have a knee that's 1.5 times probably as big as the other one from being hit. There's stab marks, on my chest. And then there's on my face, you can see a thumbprint where he grabbed me like this, and around the throat where he strangled me.
Dahmer would go with Capshaw to get medical care for his injuries to prevent him from reporting what happened. Capshaw says he tried to fight back, but an angry, drunk Dahmer would go insane on him, leaving him with black eyes, broken limbs, and deep bleeding wounds. He even had the only key to the room and locked Capshaw inside for days at a time. Capshaw became dependent on his captor for food and water. Dahmer was in complete control.
I planned to kill him. That's what I was going to do. He was hurting me.
When Capshaw got a chance to report the attacks, his superiors didn't take him seriously and sent him back to the room. His colleagues laughed and refused to help. This went on for 18 months before Capshaw was finally moved to another room. Just a few months later, Dahmer was found unsuitable for service due to his alcohol use. He received an honorable discharge in March of 1981. Preston Davis also served with Dahmer in Germany. He said the serial killer was a racist who became a monster when he was drunk.
I recall one time when Jeff got drunk and he was like, yeah, I killed a guy in Ohio, blah. And like we're like, you ain't kill anybody.
In October of 1979, 20-year-old Davis trained Dahmer on a mission to Belgium. They were in an armed personnel vehicle for several days. Dahmer had snuck alcohol on the trip.
My vehicle broke down, and so they towed us to the train station, and we're sitting there waiting until the exercise ends. Somewhere in between that time, I was drugged and sexually assaulted.
Davis believes the only reason Dahmer didn't kill him is that he didn't know how to drive the vehicle or how to get back to the base. Davis suppressed the memories of the assault for 30 years. He had anger issues and became addicted to drugs and alcohol. In 2009, he saw Dahmer on TV and the memories flooded back. That's when he sought help. Capshaw was out of the Army in 1982 when Dahmer suddenly showed up at his family home. Terrified, Capshaw hid while his angry family chased Dahmer away. For decades, Capshaw has struggled with alcohol addiction, chronic pain, and post-traumatic stress disorder. Capshaw and Davis survived Dahmer in Germany, but others may not have. While Dahmer was there, 5 male bomb holder residents were murdered and dismembered. After his arrest in 1991, Dahmer was questioned, and he denied committing any murders and bomb holder. He might have been telling the truth, or maybe he feared facing justice in Germany. Dahmer received 900 years in prison for the innocent men and boys he killed in Milwaukee and Ohio. He served a little over 2 years before another inmate beat him to death in November of 1994. Capshaw couldn't get any help from the Army until Dahmer was arrested in 1991. Then he began getting help. He's currently getting 100% of his disability benefits. Thanks for watching. See you next time.